Say that then.
Yes, sir.
Say
Energy.
that then.
Energy. What's
Say
good,
that
brother?
then. What's good, brother?
Yo, how we so high off this fruit, man? It's crazy.
But you need some meat though. Gotta get you some meat, right? Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop this. Stop this nonsense, bro. Stop this nonsense. Listen, first and foremost, I want to keep going on that topic real quick because it just keeps coming up. And then, but first, I want to check in. How you doing, bro? What's new for you? What you want to let the people know about?
Great. I want to let the people know that I feel good simply because I'm focusing on the basics. What am I doing? I'm taking the time to be with myself. I'm taking the time to shut off distractions, shut off even people, shut off social media, all of that. Sure, I got to work, but what is work if the internal state of my body is not to a T? And so, simple things like drinking enough water, simple things like getting your water from fruits and vegetables and having that be the biggest percentage of your water intake. Things like that, just really simple things that they tell us over and over again that we don't necessarily integrate into our lifestyles, into our bodies. It's just without the actual consistency and the practice, it just goes all to waste. So I've just been really focusing on those really simple, tiny little things that make, as you could tell, a shit ton of difference. It's 9 o'clock and I got hella energy, and I wake up at 5 o'clock.
9 o'clock right now. Wakes up at 5 o'clock. Just sit focusing on the basics, drinking enough water, getting your mind, your movements in. All right. Getting your breathing in, your meditation in. What else you getting in? I'm guessing a little bit of sun, obviously. You down in Florida. Lucky you, sir.
A little bit of sun. Overall, I think the principle that I'm shooting for is keeping my body at ease. And
Mm.
really, that's a mind, not just a mindset, but a mind, a spirit, an energy set in which you can actually sense the vibrations of your inner workings and put yourself at ease. A lot of people throughout the day, they're all wide open, they're bug eyed,
Wired up.
or on the other side of things, they're slumped, their posture's slumped, they're barely breathing, they're not paying attention. So it's on one side of the spectrum or the other for a lot of people. So I think just bringing yourself at ease in a way in which you're calm but also alert and focused at the same time. I think that's what our bodies want to run on. That's how our bodies operate most efficiently and effectively.
I had to write this down so I can remember this piece of it because you drives like drinking from a fire hose for these folks, man. They dropping a low, and then you just like they caught on the first sentence, like, oh, what did you just say? Drinking enough water, right? So they just get caught, for real. And I think, for you and I, something to keep in mind is we've been doing this for a long time. So kind of you take certain things for granted in terms of just like kind of what you. Let me speak for myself here. The journey, right? All the little intricacies and things that I've learned along the way. Like the things that you can't like sometimes you give so much to a client, but you still can't give everything, you know. You can't step in their skin and do it for them or get that transfer that feeling.
Hmm.
Um and that's why this stuff is so key, man. What we do in terms of getting up here to share our experience from a real perspective, not a freaking textbook. Okay, yes, we've read those, but there's certain things that you just can't get from reading letters on a page. It's just not the thing, right? You can
Yeah.
send me all the damn research you want to send me, right? Send me all the damn articles you want to send me, because that's what people do, right? They just want to like, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? Well, actually, in '99, I tested that shit, and what I found out, you know what I mean? It's like, what about this? What about? And the topic I want to run by you right now, and you let me know how you feel about it, is this idea of we agree that at the end of the day, it's about energy. That's the currency. And I said this a while ago in that we've been tricked into dealing in money as the main currency. But the main currency is really energy. Money is just a derivative, actually. Yeah, a derivative of that. So it's just the same way as individuals in the stock market, if you will, if you understand the stock market, or '08 crash, if you want to watch the Big Short, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, taking you have a house, then you have the mortgage on the house, and then taking the mortgages on multiple houses, stacking them into an instrument that is not really real. It's backed, right? Right. And then you go out and do all this stuff, and then people are taking bets on it. It's like you're getting further and further removed from the source. That's
Mm-hmm.
my point. You're getting further and further removed from the source, right? And energy is what we're concerned about. Energy. And so guess what? When you're sick, you don't have energy. Right? When you're ill, you don't have energy. And fitness is a barrier to that energy, to that sickness piece, because it maintains your all the systems of energy production.
And real
But
quick, I want
go
to
ahead,
add
bro.
in and then let you get back on that track. Even so, there's a spectrum, right? One end of the spectrum, there's sickness, and then one on another end of the spectrum, there's absolute health. There's perfect health, no kind of inflammation in the system. Well, of course, and that's why I say that this is an extreme, because this is impossible, but no kind of inflammation in the system, no kind of negative mental thought patterns, or everything is just in balance. Your mental, your emotional, your physical, everything's in perfect balance. So I think a lot of people think, oh, I'm not sick, I'm fine, I don't need to do anything. But I want to
Mm,
bring to people's attention that you can continue to peel back the layers of the onion in terms of understanding where you fall on that spectrum. So the deeper your understanding is of your own body and of, I think, human bodies in general, the more
mm-hmm.
you understand that being fine doesn't equate to being at your best, how you can function optimally. So I'll let you continue. I just wanted to put that in.
I think that's critical, because that's where we live. That fine. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm good. There's nothing wrong. Like, I'm not dead. Right? I'm
Yeah,
not right. Like,
yeah.
yeah. So I really want to revisit this idea of first and foremost a couple ideas. What does the human body actually need, and what are the best sources of that? That's like top of the question. What are you actually? We're talking about energy, and we talk about fitness and health. Well, let's say absence of dis-ease, right? What does the body actually need to maintain that high level of energy, high level of wellness, of well-being, and what is the best source of getting that stuff, whatever that stuff is, okay? And then coming down a little lower, what is the role of protein in all of this, right? And where, based on the answer to that question, where is the best source of gathering that? And then two specific questions is, does the human body need animal tissue to obtain high level of well-being, high level of energy, high level of health that we're talking about? And is that connected to protein, or are they two completely different things and that have been lumped together? All right. Not so that's where I want to chat on real quick. Like, we don't have to make it too long, but I think it's critical that we I would enjoy diving into that with you right now. I think it's kind of Kind of been on my mind. Kind of been on my mind.
Well,
So
I,
take that from the top.
I'll just start off and then I'll let you go ahead at it because you're obviously the nutrition expert here. But the way I see it, a worm eats a mango. They're going to turn into more worm, into worm cells. A human eats a mango. They're going to turn the mango into human cells. A fish eats a mango. I don't know if fish eat mango, but if they did, they would turn into more fish cells. So the point I'm trying to make is that the body has an intelligence of its own to transform material into its own physical aspects. And this intelligence, it goes beyond the physical. It whatever you want to call it, whether it's spirit
Metaphysical.
or source or God, the creator, whatever it is, this intelligence shapes these things on the earth, these things that we consume into our bodies. And then, so that's the way that I see it. I'll let you go from there because obviously there's, okay, well, so does what we put in at the end of the day affect our bodies in terms of what quality that source comes from? Does our ability to tap into source, into this intelligence, dictate also what these different foods, what these different things that we consume will transform into once we consume them? Those are questions that I've thought about as you bring up these different things.
Mm. I'd love to dive into that a little bit more. I want to take it more from um, like a kind of a lower level. No, I wouldn't say lower level. That sounds terrible, but more so of just like a basic colloquial level,
Mm-hmm.
so that everyone can kind of join the conversation in terms of what we're talking about. The thing is, when we look at, do you need meat, animal tissue? I'll say that. And what is protein, and do you need it, and where does it come from, and is its connection to the meat, right? But I've, in my research and looking into this quite deeply, um, very few people actually define what protein is. Like actually define. See, I can define if you ask me, well, what is black? Well, it's not white. Right? Okay, well, that's one way of describing it, but what does that tell me about what black is? It tells me it's not white, but what else does it tell me? It doesn't define black, right? And that's not the definition of what that is. That's kind of what the game that they're playing with protein. Okay, so first and foremost, there's this idea of like of one that you need a substance that very few are clearly defining. Okay, what is it? What is it that we need? What is it? Well, it's when amino acids come together and well, that's fucking everything in the body. Like, well, what do you mean? That's like kind of everything, right? So, what are you saying? That makes no sense. Um, and then I go to like, so unclear as to what it is. Like, so right off the bat, we're pretty shaky, right? Then animal tissue. Well, there's again, I always people want to put you into boxes pretty quickly. So people, come at me as if I'm vegan or claiming veganism or whatever. Listen, I'm African. If you understand what that means, nobody I know or grew up with claims veganism. That's an invention, right? That's been put out in the Western world as to like veganism. So I'm not even talking about these labels and these topics and whatnot. But I just want to ask folks, and then I want to get your like personal experience on this, like eat in different ways, how you feel, what you've discovered as an athlete. I want people to really like look at it on just like a statistical, like common sense, right? Think about how many people on this earth do not consume animal tissue. Their entire life, their whole freaking life, including athletes, high performing athletes, right? The one that comes to mind immediately, just because it was on my page a little while ago, is Chris Paul, who made the switch, right, from a normal healthy diet, right? So it's not like the man was eating terrible. A normal healthy diet to a plant-based diet, so not even like veganism or whatnot, but focusing on plant. And dude literally swears that he is still playing basketball now because of that switch that he made. And you can look at the dude's career, right? So I'm saying when we look at that, how then on God's green earth can you turn around and say you need animal tissue to perform at optimal or to even function as a regular human being? How is that even possible? Like we're literally looking at gladiators from Rome.
Yeah.
Did not consume animal tissue, right? A lot of these folks in blue zones across the world, they're not vegan. They don't claim the title. What they do claim though is a like 90% plant-based diet. It's not a political thing. It's not a moral thing. It's not a whatever thing. It's just this is how our people have eaten forever, and this is how our healthiest people eat and maintain things, right? The Tara Amaras.
Hmm. No meat.
How, Sway?
And
So
that's front of the world.
and then what happens when they come down into regular world and start consuming regular food? They become regular, right? So, bro, please help me understand why. Like, forget all the science, forget all the molecular science or whatever. I'm literally show me. I'm looking at this thing, man. Like, please help it make sense. How on God's green earth can you tell me that I need, again, that's the key word here, need animal tissue, right, to be at optimal health, to be at even regular health, and then to be at above optimal health? Like, help me understand this, bro, because I'm like, what are people talking about?
Well, I think the thing is, people don't take the time to actually try and test things on their own because they hear from everybody, whether it's their parents, the news, social media, all these different influences that are saying, yes, meat is the way. Yes, meat is how you build strong, whatever. Meat is how you build muscle. Meat is how you recover. They don't really take the time to go on the opposite end of the spectrum and test things that go against the traditional means. And I think that's what people like you and I are here for, is to do that testing for people, is to then is to first do the experimentation, come back with the consensus, and then show people like, okay, yeah, this is what we did, this is what happened. We now train people this way using these methods, these principles. Do what you want with that. And so I think that's ultimately how we get the message across, is just simply being authentic and showing people, hey, we were on a quest for truth. We were on a quest for doing what is best in terms of optimizing our bodies, and more than just optimizing our bodies, in experiencing life in a deeper and more rich way, in a way that's more fulfilling. That is our ultimate goal. And in doing that, we've come to these different means. We've come to these different methods. One of them is, hey, maybe meat isn't the way. Maybe meat doesn't or isn't really required for all these things that they say it is. Let's look a little bit deeper. Let's cut out meat, or rather, let's increase the intake of these different fruits, of juices. Let's even, hey, let's do a solid food vacation.
Vacation.
And then, okay, wow, I'm seeing some different things in my body, and I'm really sensing some new sensations. I'm getting new signals from my body. It seems like my body likes this. And so just keep on going, keep on testing, keep on just staying consistent with those means. And we figure out like, hey, we have these opinions on meat. Again, do what you want with it.
I think you hit it on the head. You got to test it, guys. You really have to test it. And I don't claim a particular category, box, label, or any of that stuff because they're just man made inventions. I'm seeking natural law, I'm seeking divine law, I'm seeking the way that God made it. Okay. I'm not even necessarily saying that he made it one way and it is that only way, right? That's not what I'm saying. I've actually like backed up a little bit as I test more, right? I probably was more anti meat not too long ago, right? But you got to also consider I spent the first 20 something years of my life. Oh man, I was going in, I was crushing.
Mm-hmm.
Physically, aesthetically, I looked great, right? Uh, Performance wise, I was okay, right? I was good, right? Everything else wise, I was doing it was all dope. But I knew when I sat down that there were a few things that were off. My gut, my anxiety, my what you might call depression, my all of that little things,
Yeah.
right? Little ailments, little diseases, right? That take
Yeah.
place. And so I continue testing. I'm pretty sure I've tested pretty much every label that I can think of,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I pull the best from each one of them and put it together and utilize those tools when I need to utilize them. Guys, you gotta test this stuff out. Like there is no, it may not work for you, some way somehow. Maybe your body just absolutely needs meat all the time. Maybe it does. I don't know. I've never worked with your body. I don't know. Okay. But what I'm telling you though is I do know this. The statement, you need meat for protein, is complete bullshit. That I know. That I know to be true. That's complete bullshit. Okay. Because there's literally protein in everything. Like what can you think of that you can get from meat that you can't get from plants?
There's
Somebody hit me with this the other day. They were like, "Oh, there's some stuff in meat you can't get them." What?
are literally composed of proteins. That's what makes up their structure.
Bruh, this is how you know. There's stuff in meat that you can't get in fruits. Forget plants. Don't even give me plants. Just give me fruit.
How could,
Oh,
how could that be when plants comprise animals?
but
Cow,
this is what's going on.
cows become whole ass cows from eating grass. How is that possible? And it comes down to what I was speaking of at the beginning of the conversation, the intelligence that's within our body. Whether you want to call that DNA or if you're more spiritual, you want to call that your consciousness or whatever it is, source, that creates what you put into your body from this matter, which is really just what? Just vibrations, just energy
Black
that's
matter.
condensed. And so your body has the intelligence to pick it apart and make it what you are, to comprise what you are made of. So in that way, and I think also this brings up the point of uh, we distance ourselves so much from this earth and separate ourselves, oh, us versus nature, but we are literally part of the earth's recycling process. We are nothing but the earth recycling itself because we eat this food that comes from the earth just to decompose, and like we're no different than a fucking banana peel that you throw in your backyard or in the grass. that just is grown from the earth. It dies, so to speak. We eat it, and then the waste is the peel. We throw it in the soil, it decomposes just to form something else, transform into another plant.
That's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful statement right there. And I hope people really understand what you're saying here, because consider two things. First and foremost, if you are part of this entire cycle, right, then let's look at how plants flourish. It's the same thing for us. Sunlight, water, right? It's the same thing for us. Air. I would even add community, right? It's the same thing for us. We are literally plants. That's number one. Number two, you mentioned the piece about the cow. Largest animals on earth. Largest animals on earth don't consume animal tissue. So where did they get their protein building blocks? Oh, well, we're not cows. We're not da-da-da. Why do we drink cow milk and eat cows then? What are we doing? What? I don't understand. You can't have both. That's the thing. You can't have both, right? So which one is it? And I hope what you're really getting from this is you gotta pause and really test everything. I'm not saying that's the only way to find the truth. I'm saying that it's a really good way to buffer and strengthen your bullshit meter when it comes to this health stuff. Because there's certain things like you simply cannot tell me that you need animal tissue to survive. Why? Because I've done it without. Right? I've literally performed at my best without. So that makes no sense. You're literally telling me something that my personal experience gives me evidence, provides ample evidence that that's not true. When you build up your bullshit meter, it's going to help in things like, oh, let's say there's a pandemic. Let's say that you're being told a whole bunch of things to do. When you've got your BS meter up, fortified, you don't need to go to all of these different sources and experts and whatnot. Your gut, your sense, that black matter that you refer to in terms of the substance, that the making, the magic powder, black powder that everything is made out of. And if you don't understand that, DM one of us. We'll send you a video for a guy that will break that down for you. But the magic dust, literally pixie dust, the magic dust that everything is made out of, it's not fucking protein. Y'all need to stop. Stop this garbage. It's ridiculous. And on top of that, bro, like what is going on with when I look left, I look right, is that because people misunderstand that or are tricked into understanding that even when they want to do good, even when they want to live well, even when they want to live the good life, even when they want to live healthier and do these things, they're getting shitty information. You can't, there's no way on God's green earth, man, that you can tell me that somebody come breakfast in the morning, lunch in the afternoon, dinner at night, and they're having animal tissue, year after year after year after year. You're going to have an issue at some point in time. In fact, you have issues right now that you're not fully tying back to the things that you're consuming. And I'm hyping on animal tissue today because that's just been on my mind. But there's other things, right? There's a ton of other things, right? But this is the one that just seems so hooked into our society. It just seems so like you can't get rid of it, all right? Oh, oh yeah, I don't see any protein on your plate. Fuck does that mean? What do you mean? You don't see any? You mean you don't see any animal tissue on my plate? Like, what do you mean, right? Oh, what protein will you have at dinner? Since what? What the fuck does that mean? Since when did we sub out Like, bro, you hear this all the time, and I'm in the midst of event planning and whatnot. So one of the things I get quite a bit is like, oh yeah, yeah, what are the choices of proteins? These people don't even know what the word protein means. They're literally subbing it out for animal tissue. That's what is happening.
Yeah.
Bro, this is a problem. It's a problem. You know, it just blows my mind because you have to read when you get clients who want to do good, like they have the best intention in the world, right? But they've been smothered and hit and smacked all these years with the idea of like protein must have must have from animals or weird dried powders. Bro, how? Like, how? I cannot understand. I cannot understand. Yo, if you were on this, let me read some of these chats because I could go crazy on this for quite a while. Let me see you. Hey, what's up, all the people that came through? I'm not gonna read all your names. Hey, what up, Dougal? My gut health and digestion as a whole has tremendously improved since reducing my meat intake. Personal anecdotal, and also we hit. I say we because I'm tied to my man's journey at this point. But Dougal hit like his most rapid transformation period when his body fully synced to that new way of eating. I'm like took off at that point, right? And we've been doing stuff before or whatnot, but at the point in which we really addressed the nutrition, just took off. Dude, correct me if I'm wrong.
Tell me more about that thinking because people, I think, oftentimes change their diets. They're like, okay, I see what you're saying. Meat, yeah, probably not the best for me. Even just in like a short-term scenario, after I eat meat, I feel like shit. So yeah, let me change my eating consumption, my eating habits, so that I don't eat meat, so that I eat more fruits, I eat more veggies, whatever have you. So, what does that process look like in terms of making somebody's body more accustomed to fueling itself off of these things? And not only fueling itself, but also creating more of itself, regenerating itself from these new sources that it's probably not as accustomed to.
I think that's a great question. So, what is that syncing process? What does that transition process look like? Was the question, right?
Hmm.
Okay, cool. I think that's a great question, man. And I think it's one, if you take anything from the first part of this, you do not need animal tissue. Protein is suspect at best. Eat well and you'll be okay. Okay. All right, let's put that aside. Transitioning. Just like anything, if a machine has been doing something for a long period of time, it's built up best operating standard operating procedure. It's built up a way of things happening, right? So for the body, if you've been eating a particular way for a really long time, your body is used to releasing particular enzymes for digestion. Your body is used to uptaking particular types of nutrition, right? So meaning um, it's used to getting its what it needs to create that black pixie dust we're talking about, right? The black magic dust. It's used to getting it from a particular source. So it's that's just the way we do it. That's the way we do it. We get it from here. If you grew up in Ghana, jollof rice and goat meat, pa, 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 all day, right? So your body gets used to that. Okay. Now, if you grew up in the Ewe tribe, right, of Ghana, you were actually more, it was dried fish, if any, animal tissue, and then mostly plants in soups and stews and things like that. And then if they eat any sort of carb or any of that sort, it would be um, fermented, right? Or it would be roots, right? So big difference. And by the way, come to find out, they are known for being more athletic. They are known for being healthier. They are known for living longer. They're known for being bigger and taller. It's like, and you want to tell me that I need animal? Come on, bro. That makes no fucking sense. Transition, the longer you've been eating that way, and your body is used to those processes, the longer it's going to take for you to fully transition. The longer it's going to take for your body to say, oh, okay, we need new tools to break down this substance so we can collect what we need from it. And not just that, you got to remember that digestion doesn't start in the mouth. It starts with the nose and the eyes. Right? When you smell that bacon right downstairs, you start producing what is needed to break down bacon based on what your body information your body has collected, right?
Mine too.
And your mind, right? Our mind gets that information from our holes, if you will, right?
Yeah.
So the retraining process, just like you can choose to get really strong off of bodybuilding with weights, but your ligaments, your tendons may not keep up. Right? As opposed to you slowing down that process, right? And strengthening the entire body with integrity. Okay. Very different ball game, right? By the way, I've done both. And the second is way better, my friend.
Yeah.
Way, way better. So that process, in my opinion, step number one is you got to clean the palate. You got to get rid of everything that was there, get rid of it as much as possible. Clean the palate, clean the actual everything here, mind, eye. You got to clean all that stuff. You got to clean the actual gut, right? Your actual lymphatic system. You got to clean that stuff out, and then you got to clean up like your habits, your environment, your people, your like all that stuff too has to shift and align with it. Okay. Because if you live in a place that doesn't produce any animals, or guess what you're not going to eat? Animals. If you live in a place that doesn't produce any fruits, guess what you're not going to eat? Fruits. Okay. So if you come to me, I'm not going to tell you that you should go eat fruits. What I'm going to ask you is, what have you been doing? Where do you live? What do you have access to? What is your family used to? What are you used to? What is your system look like? What is your energy? I need a lot of information from you, right? To actually figure out, oh, okay, listen, it may not be possible for you to fully transition to fruits because you live in freaking New England. Like, it might not work, right? Or you live in, what's a colder place? I don't know.
Alaska.
You live in Alaska. Yeah, you may need to live on animals. You may need to live on animals, right? So step number one, I recommend is a solid food vacation juice feast based on your particular makeup. Okay. Second thing is once you go ahead and do that, built in the way I coach juice feasting, you airplane, meaning you when an airplane takes off, you airplane into the celestial cosmic consciousness, right? The freaking juice world, right? You airplane there, and then you airplane down to land at the level or the way, the eating style that you want to land on. Okay. So say, listen, hey, meat's not going anywhere for me, man. It's just, we got to fit it in and make it work. No problem. Airplane here, clean the system, come back, and then we go through what? Juices, fruits and smoothies, veggies, non-solid soups. Then we get to I know I'm going to forget something here. I have a list. Then we get to cooked being the real line of demarcation, right? To me, cooked is the line of demarcation. You can probably get rid of all other diets and just look at the line of cooked and uncooked and make your decisions that way, and just pay attention to how your body feels. Right? To me, that is the line of demarcation, in my opinion. Right? So that's what you do. How did that transition? And for some people, that might be a 3-day transition. Their system is so on point. They've been doing this for quite a while or whatever. They just need a 3-day transition to get them going. For some people, we're talking like 90 days. Hey, what's good, Max? I ain't seen you in a minute, bro. So yeah, that's how I would coach folks to do it. I don't think any other way does it without a solid food vacation juice feast. Why? I don't think a water fast does it because I don't think most people have the capacity to actually properly take on a water fast. And we live in a world that makes that very difficult. Okay. I don't think intermittent fasting does it because you don't fully give your body the opportunity to take out all of the trash. I don't think, what else we got? What else do people try?
Fruit fasting, but that's
Yeah,
yeah, I want
that's
to think about that.
yeah, that's a good one. If you must have solids, that's my second option.
And then I think this question actually relates. How long would you say you need to clean the palate?
It really depends on where you've been. It really, really depends, and that's what I'm saying. Some people it might be a 3 day thing. When I pop back on a juice feast, it doesn't take me long at all. Not at this point.
So let me make her question a little bit more specific. What exactly, and you partly got into this, but I want to delve into it a little bit deeper. What are the things that you're looking for in terms of, I guess it has to do with your relationship to food, not only physically, how your body responds to it, but also from a mental and emotional standpoint too. What are those things that you're looking for in that palate cleansing process?
Mm. I would summarize it as this: are you in control?
Mm.
Simply put, I would summarize it as that. Are you in control? Right? Or do you just whatever your body tells you? Whatever. It's not even your body, by the way. It's your body as is. This is why the cleaning is so key. Where your body is now, do you just like, what do I want to eat right now? Meatball sandwich sounds about good.
Yeah.
Think about the process of making that decision, right? Do we sit there and say to ourselves, where in my nutritional makeup am I missing something and where can I go ahead and supply a little bit? No, we didn't. We just said, I remember I had a meatball sandwich like a year ago or a month ago or a day ago, and it made me feel really cool or really good or really awesome or really whatever. Or I had an experience with people around me for that and it made me feel that way. So I want to feel that way again. See, we're really actually eating for the feeling,
Right.
right? And it's just like, I'll explain it this way. It's kind of like drinking alcohol, smoking weed. You take that first hit, you're coughing up a storm, it's crazy. You might get crazy high, you just insane, right? Smoke for like 2 years, 3 years, you take a hit, it's like nothing. Right? It's like, oh, okay, that was cool, nothing, right? And what do you have to do to get closer back to that first feeling, right? What do? Is you take a tolerance break.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what we're dealing here when we talk about palate. You've associated and made connections with particular substances that you consume and how they made you feel in the past, and you want that feeling again. So you go back to that substance, hoping for that feeling again, even if you get a fraction of it, right? Where you used to get 100 points of that feeling, now you got 90. You're like, okay, that's all right. Then you get 50, then you get 40. So what happens? You consume more and more and more and more to get not even close to where you were. So I'm looking at, bro, you got to look at the whole picture. You got to look at family. Got to look at um, location, family, location, friends and habits. You got to look at like lineage, like just general makeup, right? If you've been eating a warm bowl of something for a long period of time, we need to include a warm bowl of something in your eating regimen because you're going to crave that, right? So it's stuff like that, right? And
I,
so it's an intake of a total. Go ahead, bro.
I think I want to touch on one point that you said. Uh, It's the memory that you're overcoming. So there's memory, which is obviously integrated within your body. It's not just in your mind, it's also located within your body. And you've probably heard the book "The Body Keeps the Score."
Yes, sir. Great book.
Yeah,
Great book.
yeah. So I think the same principles can be applied in your eating habits because all these different things, all these different foods that you eat all the time, they create memory within your body. And so all these things that we're doing, and it's really the same with anything that you're trying to abstain from, that you're trying to change your relationship to, even if it's maybe like a certain thought pattern, or a behavior cycle that you have in your relationships. You have to erase, first of all, you have to become aware of that pattern. You have to become aware of that memory within your body, not only in terms of the thoughts, but also in terms of the emotions, and then in terms of how those physically present within your body. After that, then you can start reshaping the relationship how you want, because it's kind of like your flight example. You first have to realize where you are. Okay, I'm in Florida. You then have to realize, all right, this is where I want to go. And then you have to take that plane ride to ascend above where you were before. You have to completely cut it out. You have to completely distance yourself from where you are now and from where you want to go to get to where eventually you want to go.
Mm. That's a beautiful analogy, man. That's it. That's it. How you do one thing is how you do everything. This process is actually not that unique. Maybe the details are unique, but the process, like that from a high level, right, top down perspective, the process you just described is not that unique. It's the same process that works for Alcoholics Anonymous. It's the same process that works for switching up your food. It's the same process that works for,
And
so many different things.
it's the same process in yoga.
Mm,
Been around for thousands of years. There's 7 steps to enlightenment, so to speak, is what they talk about. And um, abstinence is the first one.
hmm
So
Hold up. Say that one more time. Say that one more time.
abstinence, that's the first step in
Solid food vacation
it's really
juice feast.
it's the first step in realizing your true potential as a human. You gotta abstain from all the nonsense that you've been consuming.
That's it. We can stop right there, man. When we say any more, we might even mess it up. That's it. That's it. I also want to point out that you usually see 7 steps, right? I got 7 steps to health for a reason. Because when I saw that, I was like, oh shoot, that's crazy. 7 notes, right? Is what makes up all of music and derivatives off of that. 7 colors of the rainbow, right? Hit me, please correct me if I'm wrong here, right? The universe has a pattern. There are patterns. It has a pattern, and then there are patterns within that pattern, right? So when you find something to be true, it rings, it aligns on all 7 levels. Wait, 7 chakras. Oh, oh, we gotta get off this live before Instagram kicks off, man. Oh man, y'all need to understand. This is so critical. It's so critical to understand this. So critical. So yeah. Also, last thing here. Several forms of ancient healing here. You've got light therapy, aromatherapy, right? Sound therapy, right? Guys, it's the same damn thing. See, this is what really gets me with the current situation we're in, especially health wise, medical wise, and everything going on, is that they want us to believe that we are stupid, that we are just like incredibly dumb. But see, I truly believe the truth is inside of us, regardless of what you know. Like, and if you take time to align yourself with earth and the heavens, whatever you want to call it. Please don't let my words trip you up, because it's just the words that I have right now. If I could speak in dolphin sounds so you could get it, I would do that. But this is all I got right now. So work with me. Okay. When you get that alignment in, man, and this is again solid purification juice. It's a spiritual process, man. I had somebody finish last time. I was like, bro, I didn't realize this, but this is a truly spiritual journey. You can't do this just thinking it's just physical. You can't do this just thinking it's mental. It actually is a spiritual thing.
You can't do fitness, you can't do nutrition, you can't do any craft without implementing some spiritual aspects into it. Or at
That's
least
it.
you want to do it to your full potential.
Mm,
So there's no doing it without spiritual. And I think the thing is people have this poor connotation of what spiritual means. They just have this memory of what it's painted to be in their heads. And so automatically they're like, ah, ew, no. And that's why it's people like you and I's job to distill it into language that sounds better to them.
1000%. 1000%. And it's so funny that I appreciate you mentioning that about spirituality. One of the greatest gifts my parents gave me was growing up around faith. Now I had to take that and make it into what I wanted for my life, right? But I know a lot of folks. In fact, I think of one right now that's like, "Ew, religion, church, all mosque, whatever religion, right?" But then they're out here screaming, "I believe in science." Do y'all not realize that that is a form of religion?
The same shit.
It's the same damn shit.
What it comes down to is belief. What is belief? Believing in something that you do not know, but you're basically saying, oh, I'm confident that I know this. And so that's the same shit with science. Science, we know science doesn't explain everything. That's literally what they say all the time. Like, oh, like science doesn't have all the answers. Science doesn't have all the answers. It's the same way religion doesn't have all the answers. But as you were saying, who does have all the answers, what does have all the answers is us inside, not our brains, not our physical bodies. But when we connect past that and really tap in, and again, words aren't going to do it justice.
Mm-hmm.
Experience, when we really tap in to that experience, that's when we get it.
The full total picture, the total health, the holistic health we're talking about. Guys, you fooling yourself thinking you can go to the gym, do all this stuff. And even if you're eating right, even if you're eating no animal and you don't tap into your spiritual side of it, you don't have the necessary intention behind what you're doing. You don't have the necessary big God and like that universal energy lining up. And when you do, though, and this is what I'm working on right now, right? Is shifting that energy to manifest all things in my life, right?
Outside.
With the outside of what? Say that you cut out a little bit.
Outside of you. So once you figure out the
Yes.
internal, I was gonna say chemistry, but I think chemistry doesn't is only like part of the picture. It's only the physical. But once you
Facts.
figure out your internal state in general, then you can start to go out into the world and create what the hell you want to create.
That's it. That's it. And with that said, guys, we're gonna be back on Tuesdays. Um, or we'll be back next Tuesday. Let's do 1 week at a time, guys. You know what I'm saying? Don't get too ahead of yourself. 1 week at a time here. We'll be back. We try to drop good knowledge. Um, what we really want to do is we really want to get folks that are I don't want to say serious, but folks that really want to dive down this path, we're both super passionate about working with those type of individuals. So if that is you, tap in with us. All right, send us some messages. Let us know, what do you want us to talk about? What do you want to hear from us? What questions do you have? And also, would you attend a workshop or a work day or a webinar that we put out to really dive deep into this stuff in an organized way, right? So like a 1 day webinar where we can really dive into movement and nutrition and how it relates to everything else to really help you. If you are interested in something like that, please contact one of us. Just let us know. Let us know that that's something you're down for, because if it is, we would love to provide that and get some cool people, some, what I want to say, some motivated individuals who want to go outside of what we know and see to seek truth, right? In the area of health for, but it really relates to everything.
Yeah, not motivated to make money, not
Mm-hmm.
motivated to get really cut, not motivated to have a perfect quote unquote diet, motivated
Mm-hmm.
to seek truth, and motivated to find out more about themselves and to keep on peeling back the layers of the onion in terms of understanding their internal chemistry, their internal alchemy.
That's it. That's it. So we'll be back. Tap in one of us. Let us know what questions you have. Let us know if you're down for something like that and what you would like to see. Maybe it'll look like. And we'll keep this going. So we'll get some folks in a room here pretty soon. I'm pretty hyped because that's when we get to really dive in and we get to learn from you. You know, what have your experience? What have you seen? Like, what have you tested? And what have you found? So we'll be back. Until then, peace out.
Yes, sir. Peace.
All right, brother. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, no doubt.